Welcome everybody to our NFL playoff prediction road to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We know at the time of recording, at the moment, it is second quarter of the Houston Texans game, so we're running behind. But we're going to hop right into this and get this completed for y'all. So we're going to start on the NFC side of things. You got the Packers playing the Cowboys. You got a revenge game of the head coach versus his former team. You also have the Cowboys, who have lost majority of their games against the Packers in the last several meetings. I do not see the Packers being as young as they are all around on the team. You do have a lot of veterans, but a lot of the players are still young, anywhere from 2, 3, even some rookies. I think Dak is going to surprise everybody, unfortunately, and make it at least to the divisional round of the playoffs and beat the Packers. The Eagles and the Buccaneers, if I was the Eagles here and I played 11 straight regular season games and only lost one game to come out and then lose the next 5 of 6 and did not take that division, I would have done it on purpose. Only because you got to play against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are playing extremely well behind Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Godwin, and the running back core as well. But I think that the Eagles have set themselves up for a easier road, in a sense, to the Super Bowl, or at least the divisional round if they want to get there. Now, with that being said, the Buccaneers can easily still take this game if they just play like they have been. Of course, that all does depend on which team shows up. But for me, I'm going to say the Eagles take the Buccaneers and go to the divisional round. So with that, you have the Lions and the Rams. You get Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit, where he was traded to the Rams. And you got Jared Goff playing against his former team, who lost all doubt in him and traded him away. Now, with that being said, Matthew Stafford has won a championship. He does have a Super Bowl ring with the Rams. Jared Goff is looking to get him a Super Bowl. Dan Campbell has turned that team completely around. It's completely reborn. It's a different total team now than what it was when Matthew Stafford first played there, and when he left, you don't have the target like you did when Megatron was playing for them. You got more or less of the speedy wide receivers. You do have a big tight end now in Sam Laporta, who has been practicing, who they are predicting that will play come time. But my prediction is the Lions will make it to the divisional round as well. So on the AFC aspect of this, the Buffalo Bills and the Steelers actually got postponed till Monday due to weather, but it's still going to be played in New York. The Steelers have been on a good hot streak, and so have the Bills. I do believe here Mike Tomlin will get eliminated again from the first round of the playoffs, in my opinion. I'm taking Buffalo at home behind that Josh Allen-led offense. The negative 37-degree bowl game in Kansas City. This one is a homecoming for Tyreek. This should be a run game for majority of it. But the ground is going to be frozen. I don't know how many cornerbacks or safeties are really going to want to hit people at full speed because your body is going to be frozen before you make contact. It's going to be a low-scoring affair due to the weather. But I want to say, by some miracle, the Dolphins pull this one out. Of course, like I said, the Texans game is currently being played. It's second quarter. We do know the score. But with that being said, Joe Flacco has done an extremely great job getting the Browns to where they're at. I do not see there being an issue there going into halftime. Yes, they're down. There can be a comeback here. CJ Stroud is looking just like he did through the first half of the regular season before he got hurt and how he closed out his regular season. Nico Collins, Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce, they are all there. They're showing out just like I thought they would. You got Njoku and Amari Cooper doing their side with Nick Chubb on the Browns. But when it comes down to the fourth quarter, I do believe the Texans will win this one and travel to Baltimore. So with the Bills and Dolphins, this is going to be a rematch of Week 18. I want to say, since it looks like from the way it's set, they would be in Miami this time, I want to go with Miami bad here to upset the Bills, but I'm not sure if it can happen. Tua would have to play extremely well. There were several interceptions in that game. He'd have to fix that. Tyreek would need to be 100% coming out of the blizzard game that he goes through in Kansas City. But with this being my prediction bracket, I'm going to take the Dolphins. On the NFC, you have the Cowboys would go and play the Lions in Detroit. Detroit would host their second game. With that being said, if the Lions do make it, they would have to depend heavily on their tight end, on their running game. They would hope that they can get to a Dak. Now, we have seen Week 17. We've seen this matchup, and the Lions won that matchup. It was a bad call, in my opinion, by the refs. I think the Lions get the redemption game. Give me the Lions. The 49ers and the Eagles would be the next in the NFC to play. The 49ers have rested their team the whole time. I would say here that if it comes down to the Eagles and the 49ers, I would say the 49ers would take that game over the Eagles to give you the Lions and the 49ers in the NFC conference. The Texans and the Ravens. Ravens would be home against the Texans. I would see CJ Stroud take this one. I'm not sure that it could happen. The Ravens defense is extremely good. They score about as much as their offense does. There has been times I've seen it with the Browns. The Browns have beat them as well twice. So with this one, we're going to take the Ravens over the Texans. Then you would have the Miami Dolphins going against the Ravens. This would be a speed game of which team is going to have ball last as well. They all have extremely great talent on both sides of the ball. I would want to see the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl on the AFC. On the NFC, I would want to see a upset in Santa Clara. I know Brock Purdy is a great quarterback with George Kittle, with Brandon Ayuk, with Deebo Samuels, with Christian McCaffrey. But in all actuality, the Lions could go in to Santa Clara if they make it and upset them if they play good football. They'd have to play ground football, smart football, and just capitalize off big mistakes. So for my bracket, I'm taking the Lions to get to the Super Bowl. Now, when it comes down to your final, you would have two teams that you have not seen in a long time. The Lions would actually be their first Super Bowl appearance. The Dolphins have been there since the late 90s. I would like to see Tua and that offense get a Super Bowl. It'd be good for Tyreek to show to get one with another team. Tua to get his first one. Waddle to get his first one. And especially with the head coach coming from everything he went through, from being a assistant and then working his way through the system. But Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Jamari Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Robinson, that whole offense has dug and scratched for 2 seasons to get where they're at. We are not Lions fans. We are Seahawks fans. But in my bracket, I want to see an upset all the way. I want to see the Lions win the Super Bowl and get their first championship win, their first ring, their first Lombardi trophy. And of course, that is our breakdown prediction of our bracket. Of course, let us know who you think's truly going to win. And let's get in on the discussion. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if the Texans can finish pulling out this game against the Browns. Sports fans, it's Super Wild Card weekend, and the fun has just begun. See you on the next one.